What's up everyone and welcome to the video. My name is Josh, aka The Boat, and today we're going to be doing a Dynasty in College Football 26 with Northwestern. I wanted to do a Dynasty where I'm playing in a major conference, but playing as what I consider to be one of the black sheep of the conferences, or one of the little brothers of the conferences. So generally a team that hasn't been successful and really doesn't compete in the conference, and I really feel like Northwestern does fit that. So we're gonna get into the rebuild here and see if we can turn them into a powerful dynasty that competes in the Big Ten and wins the Big Ten championship. All right, let's get started with Northwestern. We will be a head coach, of course, a new one, and we're going to go with the motivator archetype. I want to be a coach that develops his players, and as the head coach of Northwestern, we're not going to be bringing in big 4 or 5-star recruits, so it's going to be really important for us to get the most out of what we have by developing our players and making them as good as they can be. So let's make our coach here. I'm going to go with the star of Band of Brothers, Dick Winters. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Complete badass and someone to admire. So he is from Pennsylvania. So we're going to go with Pennsylvania. Or Pennsylvania for the pipeline, but we'll do Penn State for the alma mater. And for demeanor, we'll do intense, and stance, we'll do play sheet. I want to do reactive schemer for the adaptive AI. We'll go aggressive no huddle, and we'll go 60 for both offense and defensive aggressiveness. And we'll just try and find a head that looks the most like what I think Dick Winters would look like as a head coach. So we'll find something here. All right, I think this one is the closest we're going to find. So we're just going to roll with this guy right here. Coach Head 72. Okay, I just looked it up, and Dick Winters was 6 foot, about 177. So let's see if we can do that with the standard body type, and we can. Perfect. So that's what we'll go with. And there's Dick Winters. So let's get him in some sweet gear. I really like the bottom right, the quarter zip up vest. I feel like that looks pretty awesome. And with the lower body, I think we're either going to keep the light pants, or maybe we'll go with black. But I think I like the way the light pants looks. I'm not a big purple on black guy. I don't think that looks the best. So we'll keep the light pants, move forward. And as you can see, Northwestern isn't a high-powered program. They've had a few good seasons here and there, but in recent memory, it's been a lot more bad than good. Had a lot of 3-win seasons or less here, so let's see if we can turn that around. All right, and before we get into anything, I want to go over the settings I'll be using for this dynasty. We're going to be on All-American. I'm just not a Heisman level player yet. I'll get there one day. Coach firing on. Coach XP is normal. I will be manually progressing my players, so I do have the manual progression XP penalty on. I thought about turning it down to 20%, but we'll just keep it normal for now. Injury is on, and then I turned off my pre-order bonus. I do like to play on 12-minute quarters with a 15-second accelerated clock. Wear and tear will be on, and I'm not adjusting any sliders right now. It's still very early on in this game's life cycle, and I don't know too much about what sliders are the best, so I'm just keeping everything the same for now. And then, like I said, I will be manually progressing players. So I have auto progress players turned off. XP sliders are untouched. Gameplay sliders are untouched. Let's take a look at our team and see, where we're at. So we got Preston Stone as our starting quarterback. He is a pocket passer out of Dallas, Texas, and he's a redshirt junior, so we should have him for another year, hopefully. He's got good awareness, okay throwing power, and okay accuracy stats. He's not a good athlete, but it could be worse. He does pretty well in play action. And his injury, toughness, and stamina are looking good. Other than that, I don't think there's too much to be excited about at quarterback. We do have an impact dev for Dante Wallace. And another impact dev for Aiden Gray. So, and another impact dev for Ryan Bowe. So we do have some younger players that could develop into something we're starting, but I think we're going to be able to recruit better players. We have a senior running back, Cam Porter, 87 speed, 91 acceleration. He is an elusive bruiser. He looks pretty good. We do have a 92 speed, 95 acceleration East-West playmaker in Joseph Hyman out of Little Rock, Arkansas. So we might have a nice little 1-2 punch running game here. He is only a sophomore, redshirt sophomore with impact dev, so maybe he can get close to kind of an 87 by his senior year, like Cam Porter. Our receiver room's looking really bad, really young, and really slow, except for Chase Farrell. So that's definitely a position group we want to focus on. Tight end is old and bad. Left tackle, we have Caleb Tiernan, who is probably the best player on our team. He is a pass protector. He's got 93 strength, 94 pass block, 97 pass block power, 89 pass block finesse, so he is more of a power archetype, it seems. And yeah, he's pretty good. Not a great run blocker, but he's not terrible either. He is a redshirt junior, so he will most likely declare by the end of the season, but we'll just have to wait and see. Left guard, not good. Center. Yeah, we'll just kind of go through the rest of this kind of quickly. The rest of our O-line is very mid. We do have an 85 overall, Aiden Hubbard at our left edge. We do run a 4-3, so this is a defensive end. And then an 82 sophomore redshirt on our right end. Our two starting D tackles will be Miguel Jackson and Najee Story. Both pure power archetypes, so most likely not going to be able to get to the quarterback. And in a 4-3, I'm not sure how they use the salmon well. That's something I'll have to look at in formation subs. If, Mac Euline is going to be a starter or if it's going to be our Mike 2. So we're going to have to figure that out. But our linebackers are not looking great. We do have an 81 Sam, but everyone else is pretty mid. We have a redshirt freshman quarterback who is our best defensive back here. He is an 82 overall, good athleticism. But none of these guys are someone you should be too excited about. Robert Fitzgerald. And then we have Dylan Tatum. So, not terrible. We do have a few position groups where we have some good young players that are starters, but yeah, overall, pretty mid team. But we're going to be looking to improve that. All right, let's upgrade our coach skills real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start recruiting players. And I really just want to start on QBs. That's the most important position on a football team. So that's where we're going to start. I really want to get to tier 3 for all positions because that'll give all of our position groups an off-season training boost, which will be huge for developing our players. So I did take a look at our formation subs on defense just to see whether or not our Sam and Wills would be used as our outside linebackers, and they will be. So that's just good to know for our recruiting. I want to make sure we are grabbing those Sams and Wills since they will be used. I know in a 4-2-5 it uses your top 2 mics for your off-ball linebackers, so that is something I really wanted to confirm. But let's take a look at our schedule real quick, and then we'll get into recruiting. So I'm not going to change anything in our first season, just because this is going to be accurate to what Northwestern's real-life schedule is. So that is not something I'm going to be touching this season, but something I will do in the future. Now let's get into our recruiting board and scout some of these prospects. We are starting off with 625 hours, which is not too bad. And I want to start by looking at any 4-star prospects that are interested in us. We got a lot more than I was expecting here, to be honest. Got Jamarcus Torrey here. We are first on his board. And let's just go through it position by position. We do have one 4-star QB, Dakota Missouri out of Livonia, Michigan. Let's definitely add him to our board. I do like the backfield creator archetype. We've got a north-south receiver in James Cantu out of Norfolk, Virginia. I'm not big into that archetype. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, we got him added to our board. But the north-south receiver, I'm not big on that archetype. I think east-west playmaker is probably the best. But, in our first season at Northwestern, I'm not going to be picky on archetypes and stuff like that. As we get deeper into this dynasty and we can be a little bit pickier and choose the archetypes that we feel are the best scheme fits for us, we will do that. But as of right now, we just need to get our guys in the building. And since these are 4 stars, there's no need to be picky. We are Northwestern, so we will just add all of these receivers. We do have one top 100 player in Sammy Casey that's interested in us. So you take a look at tight end. No 4-star tight ends interested in us. That's all right. We have 2 left tackles, a raw strength archetype and a pass protector archetype. Like I said, we're not going to be picky here. We are, at this point in this dynasty, extremely blessed to have 4 stars even interested in us. And the name of the game for me early on in the dynasty is just get as many players, as many of your players in the program as possible. So I don't do a whole ton of scouting. I'll do more of that when I can be a little bit more picky. But right now, we are blessed to get any 4-star into this program. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we've gone ahead and added 35 prospects to our board. It is a mix of 4 stars and 5 stars. And we were able to scout some guys, and we were able to find a few gems. So the first gem that we have here is Dakota Missouri. He is a backfield creator archetype quarterback out of Livonia, Michigan. He is 6'1", 204. He's got a decently strong arm, nothing crazy, but that is something we can improve. It's not a bad place to start. Good accuracy, especially deep accuracy, which I feel like is kind of hard to come by. And he's got good athleticism, so I feel like this is a really good guy for us to target. He will have to be at the top of our list and someone that we're going to pursue really hard. He does have the Michigan schools at the top of his list, so I'm just really praying that they do not offer him and they do not pursue him. But either way, we're going to go balls to the wall on this guy. We also found Josh Moak, an East-West playmaker archetype. He is an athlete out of Madison, Alabama. 6'1", 183. And he's got some big schools in his top 10. Georgia, Alabama, Auburn. But I think if we just get out to an early lead here before those kind of schools get interested in him, I don't suspect they'll be interested in him right off the bat. We're going to be able to out-recruit Air Force and Purdue and schools like those. So I think we got a good chance on this guy. And then last but not least, we did find a gem in the bump and run archetype cornerback, Zach Baranda, out of Lynchburg, Virginia. He is 5'10", 201. He's got 93 speed, 88 acceleration, 71 man coverage. So right now he's mainly an athlete, but he's going to develop into something good for us. So super happy to have him. And we did scout a handful of players, but those are the gems that we found for now. So I'm going to go ahead and reorder our board real quick, and then we'll go from there. All right, we are here in week 0, and a ton of players want to transfer. So unfortunately, it is looking like a lot of our best players do want out. Hubbard, our starting quarterback, Preston Stone, Caleb Tiernan, our best linebacker, Yuleen. All these guys are looking to leave, so that's going to suck if they do. But we'll just do our best at keeping them around. Looking at a recruiting update, we didn't get locked out for anyone, which is a good sign. And something I didn't mention before was I ended up getting rid of a handful of our 4-stars and other 3-stars I had added to my board initially just based off their deal breaker. So anyone with, championship contender, playing time, playing style, and things like that we just were not going to meet those expectations I got rid of. So the main deal breakers I did keep on my board were conference prestige, coach prestige, brand exposure, because I feel like that's just going to improve, proximity to home. Do have a few playing time guys still, just based on the fact that we have an A+, and that's likely not going to change. So we do have a few of those guys, but for the most part, it's going to be coach prestige, proximity to home, brand exposure, and conference prestige. So that's kind of how I decided who's going to make up the 35 players on our board. So we have a bye week in week 0, so let's take a look at our recruiting and see what needs to be adjusted. All right, so we've gone in, adjusted our prospects and our recruiting. So a lot has changed. A lot of our 4-stars were just being recruited by bigger schools, and those bigger schools were getting a lot more interest. So we had to remove a lot of those 4-stars. I did keep any 4-stars on that I felt we had a good chance on, or like for instance Dakota, Missouri. He was a player we scouted and that we really like, so we're going to take the chance on him. But other than that, I didn't take too many chances, so I'll kind of just go through what our board looks like right now and go from there. So we put 50 on Dakota, Missouri. It is going to be really hard to get him with the Michigan schools going after him and just the amount of big schools that are recruiting him. So we'll see what we can do there. At halfback, we were the only offer for Josh Moak, so we've got 25 on him. So that should get us a long way for a while. And then we just threw 5 on the rest of the guys since they also don't have any offers, just to keep us in the race there. I've got 50 on our only 4-star receiver left. I added some more 3-stars that were interested in us with no offers and good deal breakers. So those will be kind of our backup plans, but I didn't even have enough hours to scout them. So they could be trash. So hopefully we get Kiki here. At tight end, I would rather have the vertical threat, and he is being pursued by 2 other schools, but those are 2 schools that we can compete with. So I threw 10 on him, and then 5 on Ben Irwin, who is not being recruited by anyone else. I wasn't able to keep any of the 4-star tackles on our board, so I got some new 3-stars on here. I just didn't have enough hours to put some hours on Greg Wood here, but that's all right. It's just 1 week. And none of these guys have been offered. Our 2 guards on our board, Goodwin and Folkerts, neither of them are being recruited by anyone else, so I've just got 10 points on them. I've got 10 points on all the centers for the same reason. Chuck, I did have to remove the 1 4-star edge rusher on our board just because he was being pursued by bigger schools, but we got Chuck Hendricks here. I did scout him, and he looks to be okay. Definitely good enough for our program. 84 acceleration, 72 finesse moves, so nothing special, but we're going to go ahead and take a shot at him against Rutgers and see if we can make up some ground there. If not, then I'll probably shift my focus to these 2 other edges I added to my board, Frederick Otogwe and Devin Irvin, who have not been offered by anyone else. So I got 5 points on them. At D-Tack, we have Craig Trimble and Josh Hawkins, both of which are not garnering a ton of interest. So I've just got 10 hours on them. I did have to get rid of all of our 4-star linebackers. So now I've got some 3-stars here. We're going to have to make up a lot of ground on Quentin Cooper. We'll see what happens next week, but we might remove him. Got 2 new mics. At corner, we have our bump and run gem, Zach Miranda here, who is being recruited heavily by Rutgers, but I think we can make up some ground there. And then the rest of our corners, I feel like we are in a good spot for. We are going to have to compete with Mississippi State for Jamal Brutus, but they don't look to be putting too much time into him, so maybe that is something we can get ahead on. And then all of our safeties are not being recruited at this moment in time, so we've just got 10 points on them. All right, let's continue into week 1 and see who we got.